Hello everyone and welcome back to the Belgian Beer Brothers channel. I'm Cedric here, still in Antwerp, and today we are gonna talk about our third winter beer. In this case, it's not a Christmas beer, but we are gonna talk about something that brings up the feeling of a South German Christmas market. We are gonna talk about Het Uiltje, which is a Dutch brewery from Haarlem, and they make a pretty cool Apfelstrudel Doppelbock. Now, first let's dive into the rather short history of Brewery Het Uiltje. Het Uiltje is the owl. Uil is owl in Dutch, and you can see that in the absolutely amazing illustrations by cartoonist Gerben Valkema. They've been working with Gerben from the start, and Gerben is a well-respected cartoonist who also worked for Netflix. He did some things for Narcos. He worked for Disney. He worked on the Asterix series. He has his own comic series. So he's an awesome cartoonist. And I absolutely love the Uiltje marketing. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Het Uiltje was founded in 2012, originally as a contract brewery, so they didn't have their own equipment. They mainly rented a brewery and they tried out some recipes. They started with a rather ambitious mission statement, which was no more or less than to brew the best fucking beer in Holland. Of course, they were well aware that there would be quite a bit of competition in Holland, because Holland does make quality beers, despite us Belgians laughing with Dutch beers. But that's another story. And they must be doing something right. They specialized in hoppy beers, but they also experimented with lesser known beer styles. So they make smoky porters, they make a doppelbock, they make some stouts, they make some barrel-aged Grand Crus. They have a lot of different beers, and they also play very well on the names. They have a lot of wordplays, playing on birds and feathers, like the Bird of Prey, the superhero IPA. But they also incorporated some musical references, like The Man in Black, which is based on Johnny Cash, of course. They have some Kiss-inspired graphics, and so on and so forth. Now, in 2015 and 16, they did a huge crowdfunding campaign, and that made them able to buy their own equipment, their own brewery. So since 2016, they've been brewing in their own brew house, and that also allowed them to experiment a lot more. I believe that currently they have over 50 beers in their web shop, of which there are a lot of specialty beers like Hefeweizen and dry hop triples and stuff like that. So I am gonna try out a lot more of this brewery, despite this being the first that I've ever had. And like I said, they must be doing something right, because in 2021 the Royal Swinkels family brewers made an offer, and Het Uiltje kindly accepted, so they are now part of the Royal Swinkels family brewers. And this is the group that also owns other breweries like Palm, like Rodenbach, Cornet, Bavaria, the La Trappe Trappist, and so on. I think they also have one or two malteries and some other companies. So what I do like about the Swinkels family brewers is that they actually keep the brewery in its own word. So they're not like AB InBev and buy something and then completely change everything up. No, they just maybe scale it up, but they keep the brewery as is. And that I really like. Now, about this beer, this is a rather special beer, the Apfelstrudel Doppelbock. In that we hear Bock, and that's exactly what this is. This is a double bock beer. Now, I'm not gonna say too much about the beer styles. I'll make a separate series about beer styles in general. But Bock beer is normally a medium strong, like 6.5–7% amber to dark lager, and that's important. It's not a high fermentation beer, it's a lager. And it mainly has a long maturation, and it focuses more on the malt bill than on the hop bill. So malt is very important in this kind of beer. Now this is a South German style, and although it does answer to the Reinheitsgebot, not always entirely. This one absolutely doesn't. Now a Doppelbock is, as the word suggests, pretty much the same but with more malts, so more fermentable sugars, and that results in a stronger beer and oftentimes a darker beer because they go a bit darker on the malt bill as well. So this is a not very hoppy beer, even though they are specialized in hoppy beers. A not very hoppy but very malty beers. This is a strong one. It is an 11%, so literally a Doppelbock. And this beer actually contains Pilsner malt, Munich malt, Cara malt and rolled oats. Now, as we've remembered from previous videos, oats are always great to make a beer fuller, to create a full and a heavier mouthfeel. Now, the hops are here Hallertau, to stay true to the German tradition, and UK Golding, so not Styrian Golding. This is actually a UK bred Golding strain. And as an extra in this beer, of course, because we are aiming for Apfelstrudel, they added some vanilla, some cinnamon and apples. So first, let's go over the label. Like I said, Doppelbock 11%, Apfelstrudel Doppelbock, apple, cinnamon and vanilla. And this great Apfelstrudel munching bird here. Not really anything special. They did add lactose, which will go great with the oats, and that is of course another way to create a fuller mouthfeel, the lactose and the maltose addition. Alright, store cold, drink fresh, that's what we will do. Now I did take this out of the fridge about half an hour ago, because beers like this you don't want to drink too cold. You want to bring out that mouth feeling and those flavors, those aromas, and of course with 11% ABV. Also a lovely branded bottle cap with this screaming bird. I'm gonna have to upgrade my glass here soon. Oh wow, that really is Apfelstrudel. I immediately get some booziness, a bit of a syrupy smell even. And I do mean like candied syrup, not the pear syrup from yesterday. I do get some cinnamon in there, and I must say that I'm not the biggest fan of cinnamon, but the cinnamon scent in this beer is absolutely not dominant, so I already like that. Beautiful, beautiful head of foam, some medium-sized bubbles, beautiful beige brownish color, and the beer itself as well is like an amber brown, a deep red brown color, slightly hazy, although I do get a lot of light through. I absolutely love this color. Now call me crazy, but I do get a lot of chocolate sauce in here. Again, some roastiness, so when I look at the malt bill, I don't get anything really roasted in there, but yeah, the smell is there. And again, the vanilla and the cinnamon aren't dominant, so that's a good omen for the flavor. And I do get some green apples in there. Yeah, this smells absolutely lovely. It's like a fruity porter or something. Let's have a taste. Oh my. Yeah, that's good. I still get a bit of that chocolate sauce that I smelled before, but now I do get a well-rounded vanilla taste. Now again, I'm not the biggest fan of cinnamon or vanilla, but it's subtle enough to like and still strong enough to taste. So also, I said that I expected a very full mouthfeel. Yeah, that's an understatement. This is nearly chewable, but in a good way this time. And yeah, it's like this is a dessert beer in itself. I think if I would have to pair this with something, I would have to pair it with some nuts, some fruits, or a cheese platter, for example. This would go great with some creamy, salty cheeses, for example, or blue cheese. Wow. Again, quite boozy. It's 11%, but it doesn't sting. But you do get that alcoholic mouthfeel. So, yeah, let it go around. And I do get a slightly bitter edge on there, but they seem to have stayed true to the original hop bills from the German Bock beers. I get a thin bitterness, but not that much. Like just enough to have a dry aftertaste. So, despite this being a rather sweet beer, the roastiness and the bitterness actually do result in a rather sweet and dry aftertaste. Now, nonetheless, I do get that sticky mouth feeling, and like I said, this is a dessert in itself. But I actually think that this is a very well made beer. So, yeah, hats off, kudos to Het Uiltje. Now, of course, if you're in the same family as Rodenbach and Palm and La Trappe, we would expect some high standards. And actually, I would compare this, despite being a lager and not a high fermentation beer, I would even compare this to like a quadruple, but a rather sweet quadruple. Another plus of this being a lager is no re-fermentation on the bottle, so no sediment, so you don't lose that half centimeter at the bottom of your bottle. I'm actually thinking, what if we cook this beer up as a coulis and use this instead of chocolate sauce in a dame blanche, for example? Or we could actually serve a real Apfelstrudel, a warm Apfelstrudel, with some vanilla ice cream and a sauce based on this beer. So, hey Uiltje, if you want to work this out, ring me up. I used to be a chef, so I should be able to do it. Anywho, guys, I'm gonna leave you with this. As usual, thank you so much for watching. I love sharing this with you guys. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. If you have any experiences to share or questions, let me know down below in the comments. I had a question yesterday about the Kazematten. We will be talking about Kazematten somewhere in the next month. I will dig that beer up for you. And yeah, if you want to see more, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and you'll get notified when I upload something. So, see you guys tomorrow for another wintery beer. Cheers.